Good morning, it's Shanna, and in case you don't already know because of the title, December 7th is my 1-year channelversary here on YouTube, so I thought I would do a little celebration with a brownie and some ice cream. Also, side note, I couldn't find birthday candles, so I raided my witchy candle stash. We are going to do a little walkthrough of the Little Monsters. I just got this in the mail this past week and I forgot it was coming, so I was really surprised. I got the package and I wasn't sure who it was from, but it was heavy. It's a substantial deck and I thought it's got to be a deck, but I couldn't think of which deck it was, so I was pleasantly surprised when I opened it and saw that it was Little Monsters. So we're going to get into it. This deck is by Peony Archer. Indie deck. It was on Kickstarter, and it's my understanding that about 4 years ago, she had a different deck that was like, I don't know, a smaller size deck that was rectangular with an oval in it and the image inside that oval. But I think I'd heard also that she had intended for it or wanted it to be oval then, but for whatever reason, and I don't know what the reason was, that didn't wind up being the case. So she did a reprint and I jumped on it. Let's look at the guidebook, or excuse me, the box really quick. The inside's gorgeous. It's just kind of like a velvety interior, which is nice. It's kind of solid, so the cards aren't going to slip. And just a nice design all the way around. And it's shimmery. Hopefully that catches the light a little bit. Anyway, that's that. And I am thrilled with this deck. It's as pretty as I had hoped. We can do a quick flip of the guidebook when we're done, if I can remember. So let's zoom in here. Is that far enough? Squeaky chair and all. Okay. I really want to make sure that plant's in the frame, which it is not. Because it's a plant and it's green and I don't have any of my Christmas stuff out yet. It is still all in my garage and that's the only green thing I have. So we're using it. Okay, this is not in order. I flipped through and shuffled a few times. I saw someone else shuffle this. Oops, I'm gonna throw the deck. And I don't know if I could do that. Yeah, no, it's pretty solid. Did I see someone else shuffle it? I have no idea. I don't think it's very shuffleable. Like, it's not riffle shuffleable. I mean, no. If someone else can do it, they have magic fingers, but for me, it's just a nice overhand. Oops. It is a little bit unwieldy as far as trying to keep them all facing the same way when you do this, because they have a tendency to sort of roll on themselves. But I don't even care. It's pretty enough that that slight inconvenience is not an issue for me. The cardstock is nice. It feels thick. I want to say it's a matte. And then the backs also have kind of that shimmery gold or foil on the stars. So, Temperance. I like how she's wearing, it looks kind of like she's wearing a mask, but it's not like it's cut in quarters. Just the multifaceted, different facets, I guess, of that ability to be even-keeled. I guess I'll put this here. 9 of arrows, which arrows are swords. I like how she's, she or they, they're leaning into their knee, like sort of that almost fetal position, but their hand is still on the ground. Like, yes, they're struggling, but they're going to be okay. They've got that groundedness that one needs in those situations. Look at her face. This is funny. That makes me laugh. 8 of arrows, 8 of swords. So it's interesting. She's completely tied up here. You can't even see her arms. Sorry, I keep yawning. 7 of swords or arrows. She looks very casual about this. Like, these are mine. I'll be taking these. And these are in the ground around her. Like maybe people are like, take them. We don't even want them. And she's just like, yeah, well, good, because I'm going to. Six of arrows. He looks very relaxed. And obviously these are very pared down images. You don't get a lot of, or any for that matter, of the symbolism, the water, the coast, any of the stuff where they're headed. So I think that leaves it open for interpretation, which I really enjoy about this deck. I just think, I think it almost lends itself to that Pip feeling, in that you can really, like, you're not being told what's over here. That all depends on the situation and the question you've asked the card, which I like. 5 of swords or arrows. I like how she's hanging her head, like, and I'm just going to use he and she interchangeably. It's easier for me to remember in the moment. And sometimes I might say they, so we're just going to roll with it. I like how she has 3 of them in her, she possesses 3 of those, and 2 of them, again, it's kind of like they've been thrown at her. Like others have just given up. Like maybe she's so stubborn that they're just like, just take them. We don't even want them. And I like how she's hanging her head, sort of like self-contemplation of, do I really want these? Is this really what I was going for? Uh-oh. Some of these are going to get flipped. Well, that'll teach me to riffle shuffle right before a video or during the video. All right, 6 of Cups. That nostalgia, sort of, we've got these empty bowls behind them, one that's potentially shared and the one that's clearly been shared, and that's the one that's, come to fruition, given them something to work with and enjoy. 5 of Cups. Oh, interesting. This one where it's spilling out of the cups and completely encompassing them with whatever this is. Like they're just so focused on these that it's just enveloped them in it. And these 3 have been ignored. I love this one. This image reminds me, and it's got to be something specific because every time I see it, I think of it. One of Shel Silverstein's illustrations. If you're more familiar with Shel Silverstein and you can think of the poem that this maybe looks like, let me know. Taking a drink. I have 2 of his books. I could go look, but I'm not doing that right now. So 4 of Cups. She is so in her own feels that these people offering cups, she probably couldn't even reach them because she's so enveloped in it. She's deep in her own feels. 3 of Cups. Interesting. Okay. It's sort of like they're making this whirlwind or not whirlwind, whirlpool. Their energy, they're obviously working together. This is a really sweet illustration. I like how one of them doesn't have their face showing. Sort of like that. I don't know, I almost get the impression that this is sort of like, this is you, this is the person who, you know, who you're giving that energy to or using that energy with, but this could also be potentially you. Like maybe you're putting in too much effort and you need to focus more on this other person who's offering their help. Let me look and see, this is curious. Mirthful celebration, affirming friendship. These sentiments float in with the warm phosphorescent tide of the Three of Cups. This is a very sociable energy, vibrant and nourishing, giving you the opportunity to forget the cares of the world and just float. There's an easy, joyful vitality to be found in the right social situations. I won't read the whole thing. Understanding of creation. So it does go into the ease of, you know, easing your burden when you do collab with other people. But I think it could also, I think I would kind of stand by that of that, you know, these two are yourself and this is the person, the other person. But I mean, the pessimistic side of me could say, well, if you want something done right, do it yourself, right? But also, on the flip side of that, like, yeah, I want it done a very specific way, and so I want to work on it, and I want to feel proud of that accomplishment, right? I kind of like that. Especially, yeah, I'm sticking with that one. That's how I'm feeling. Two of Cups. This is interesting, where she looks asleep or not asleep. Should we look at that one too? This might be a long video if we look at all the descriptions. But we're going to do it. Says people are often so happy to overturn the lovers in a reading without realizing everything that the lovers can contain: complexity, challenge, revelation, life-altering decision, ego, death. But here is the real Lord of Love, as the Gnostics call the card. Surely one of the most romantic and emotionally vibrant of the tarot cards. This is interesting. The guidebook, there's no, hopefully that's not too close. I don't want to get close to my candle. There's no capitalization. And where was it? Maybe I'm crazy. I thought there was, anyway. Oh, right here. There's no space between the period. I'm going to assume that was a mistake, but I'm not bothered by it. I just think it's interesting. Something that Grammarly could have easily caught. That being said, who knows how many mistakes are in the book that I wrote, so no judgment, just a little side note. Let's see. Represents a unification of souls, most often a romantic or intimate relationship. Okay, so it doesn't say anything about why they're sleeping, but maybe they're just so comfortable with each other that, you know, this one feels safe enough to sleep. The end. I like that. Ace of Cups. That fresh new beginning. Things growing. King of Wands. He's like, look how big my sword, or excuse me, my wand is. I'm sure this position has relevance. I don't know what it is, but I bet it does. Nice. Okay, the Empress. This is interesting. I don't know. I feel like that's, are those like pinchers, like she's a little bug or something? She's got flowers down here by her hand. And it does look like maybe she's got a little roundness here, although you wouldn't necessarily have to interpret it that way. I think you could, but it wouldn't be. It's not so obvious that it would have to be. The High Priestess. This reminds me of salt and pepper shakers. She's got her little tiny head right up in there. And to me, this looks like a puffer fish here coming out the back of her. Maybe I'm just seeing things. It's interesting that she's not facing forward, that she's very clearly facing the left side, I guess her right side, but I don't think then that most of these explain the image specifically. Oops. You do get keywords with the majors, which is nice. Oh, interesting. I've not really thought about this before. It says the High Priestess is, in fact, the gray area and also represents the gray matter, the brain, the glorious tool of knowledge and analysis that we are all bestowed. I like that, the gray area. I always used to say I'm very black and white, but while I like being on either the black or the white, you know, for any situation, I do tend to play the devil's advocate, if you will, and sit firmly in the gray more often than not. So I guess depending on the situation. What am I even talking about? Anyway, I've not thought of her like that. That's interesting. This reminds me of Where the Wild Things Are. I don't know why specifically. The Magician with the lemniscate. Love that. We are going to be here a while. I best hurry. All right, the Fool. King of Arrows. He looks very unsure of himself for the King of Swords. Death. So sweet. The Hanged Man. Gosh, how many of these are upside down? I don't know. Just flip it, I guess. Justice. I do like this Wheel of Fortune. I generally don't like the Wheel of Fortune cards in a lot of decks. They're just boring. This is nice. I like this. Sort of that fight for whose turn it is to be up or down. The Hermit. This faceless entity. Seems like they're holding the moon. Strength. I like that. That took me a minute to kind of see. So we've got an arm coming around the head here, and there's the face of the person. Interesting. It's almost like you're the shadow versus the lion being the shadow. Oh, and there's her feet. Oh, I like this. Okay. the Chariot. Looks like she's got her blankie. What is that when you astral travel? That's what this reminds me of. The Lovers. Hierophant. The Emperor. I love this Emperor. So very serious. Ten of Wands. Nine of Wands. She looks quite happy for having only one eye. Good for her. She's got a little starry cape. I like that. Eight of Wands. I love this. This is lovely. It would have been so easy just to have those wands and nothing else, but the fact that they've added in these birds that are sort of being turned topsy-turvy. Little chaos. I like that. Seven of Wands. Interesting. Are they whistling or are they huffing and puffing? I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Six of Wands. Five. This almost looks to me like they've been given these wands, they've been told to compete for something, and they're discussing among themselves, like, why would we compete? I don't want to compete. Let's just work together. I like that one. Four of Wands. A milestone, the passing along of the wands. Three. Again, similar to the Six of Swords in this deck, I like that there's no image beyond this figure, because I think that really opens up the possibilities of what this card could mean, depending on your question, your query. Two of Wands. The Ace, potential. Like it almost looks dead, but you don't really see what's below the surface. Those roots, you know, that are hopefully gripping on the World. Judgment. This is interesting. Let's look this one up. Judgment sometimes throws me. Not always, but... It says, here is another card, like the Hierophant, that is frequently rejected or misunderstood because of biblical or religious connotations. But the true meaning of judgment is nothing to reject or be afraid of. It means you no harm, even if it's going to rearrange your whole world view. In fact, Judgment Day, as it is represented in the tarot, is nothing like what evangelicals would have you believe. There's no punishment here, no hell, only a sense of profound purification. It says, in the Little Monsters Tarot, our judgment carefully and serenely balances between two staffs, two souls, two epics, I'm not sure. The monster bears on its shoulder, almost like a burden. Okay. The even-armed cross, which represents the unification between the ethereal and the material. It says, all over the world and for thousands of years, the even-armed cross has symbolized the unification of all elements, the cosmic reunion. Here, at the end of all things, every lesson we have yet learned in the tarot's teachings is synthesized into the biggest, most awe-inspiring truth we have ever known. Interesting. I would have to sit with that one a little bit. Queen of Arrows. These kings and queens seem a little sad. Still good, okay. Knight of Arrows, Child, Ten of Arrows, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, Child of Cups, very sweet, the Ten of Cups, 9, the Eight of Cups. Very much like the Five of Cups, where the two cups were kind of encompassing or enveloping the figure. Now the figure's like done with that. They're over it. They're leaving all the cups behind. With the moon on their head. Wisdom. Queen of Coins. Knight of Coins. And the Child. 10. Nine. I love her elaborate robes. 4 of Arrows or Swords. I love how this sort of makes me think of like that they're very protected here. This isn't a dangerous situation. The 3 of Arrows. This is sweet. They're holding on to it. Onto the heart. 2 of Arrows. 1 is down, 1 is up. Ace. King of Coins. He looks happy. I think the Queen of Coins also looked happy. 8 of Coins. 7. Clearly this has not been shuffled well. 6 of Coins. 5. She's got a little bird in her lap. 4 of Coins. 3. 2. Ace. And the King of Cups. The Sun. The Moon. The Star. I love her little blanketed robe, or cloak, I guess. The Tower. This reminds me of a mushroom. The Devil. He's got these flies around him. What a stinky boy. 7 of Cups. Looks like we've got some of the classic images. Queen of Wands. Knight of Wands. And the Child of Wands. Alright. Well, given that this is a black and white deck, well, I was going to say it'd be kind of obvious what will pair with it and what won't, but I think mostly I'm just not in the mood to get into pairings right now. I kind of just wanted to do a little walkthrough Should we do, let's flip a card and take a reading. I think this is going to be one where I'm just going to have to settle into reading reversals because I think it's going to insist. Kind of like a round deck. It's going to insist. All right, well, we'll take these three. Knight, Child, and 10 of Cups. All right, let's look into the guidebook. All right. The Knight of Cups. Listen, listen, listen to the poem of the heart. The Knight of Cups knows every line, has it memorized, can improvise in a moment. The Knight of Cups is sensual, romantic, powerfully emotional, profound. There may be flirtation, seduction, or romantic interest. They're self-involved, led entirely by their own heart. So just like the moon guides the tide, there's a bit of the coming in and then receding in the Knight of Cups. Some inconsistency governing the emotional mood. Associated with the sign of Pisces, the Knight of Cups is slippery as a fish. Emotion is unpredictable and irrational in ourselves and in others. If we dive too deep, we just might drown. Best learn to swim. I like that. When I saw this, I wondered if these were kind of waves, and yeah, I think it is. All right, Child of Cups. This is by far the most youthful of the tarot cards, and in some ways the most pure and joyous. The Child of Cups represents one whose heart is open as a newborn star. Aww. Believe in your dreams, have faith, and above all, be open. The Child of Cups is powerfully receptive, interested in receiving, in learning, and trusting. It's okay to be sentimental, to be nostalgic, to be gentle. Vulnerability is also a strength. Interesting. Okay, 10 of Cups. Now immersed in a deep trust, this monster balances a rainbow of emotion above them, creating a bower of feeling beneath which to celebrate the preciousness of human experience. So I'm curious. I wondered, it sounded almost like they were kind of telling a story. And maybe they are, I'm just not. No, maybe not. Okay. The appearance of the 10 of Cups shows that the focus on deep harmony, on profound trust, and on honoring the bonds of the heart. Having completed the full cycle of the emotional cups journey, the 10 emerges as one who can hold all manner of experience, as an array both useful and mysterious. All the world is open for you, and there's no reason to fear. Perhaps everything in life has a reason, an origin, and a grace, and perhaps we open our hearts only to bear witness to this glory. Interesting. Okay, well, I think I'm going to enjoy this deck, and I think it'll be a great, like, December, January, winter kind of vibe. So yeah, that is the Little Monsters Tarot. Oh, I should have mentioned too. So the book is by Olivia Mercury Pepper. And then I'm assuming the artist is Peony Coin Archer. Does give you a couple little spreads. Nice. Well, okay. If you have this deck, let me know how you like it, if you're pairing it with anything specific, and how it's working for you. That's kind of all I have this week, you guys. Side note, I've been here on YouTube for a year as of December 7th, so happy channelversary to me. And I will catch up with you guys next week. Bye.